Hey, AP Nation, Mr. Sulkowski here. I'm going to be doing a quick video on the Ottoman Empire. If you find this useful, I'd appreciate a like. If you really find it useful, please subscribe. All right. So this is going to be for AP World History. This is a class I've been teaching for about 8 years now. Again, if you like the video, and please let me know. And any questions or comments, leave them in the description below, and I'll answer them. All right, so the main things you want to know for the Ottoman Empire is the Ottoman Empire. It's Islamic. It takes over what used to be the Byzantine Empire, which you can kind of see on this map down here. That's the remnants of the Holy Roman Empire when the Holy Roman Empire broke into two. So the story is that it basically was this whole area was a Holy Roman Empire. It fell in the area of Europe, but it still existed for a period of time with Justinian and Theodora during the Byzantine Empire. But that fell to the Ottomans, and the Ottomans were different because they were Islamic Empire. Okay, and that's the rise of Islamic empires. And the main one you want to know for AP World History is going to be Sultan Suleiman. So those are the two things you want to know for the empire going forward. It all started off with Mehmet II, and he finally succeeded in 1453, taking over the city of Istanbul, which was changed into the name Istanbul, but it was originally called Constantinople. Okay, Constantinople was like the last thread, the last major city of the Byzantine Empire, and when Mehmet II took it over, it finally solidified the Ottoman Empire as like the major empire in this region. You can see the transferring of religions with the Hagia Sophia, or it looks like Hagia Sophia to my students sometimes. Here you can see that the actual, the inside of the church or the basilica is in the style of Christianity, but when Islamic Empire took over, the Ottoman Empire took over, they made it into a mosque, and you can actually see the decorations of the Quran, which is a Islamic way of decorating their mosques, okay? And that's the transferring of these two religions and these two empires. They were educated in the Quran, mathematics, medicine, and music. They are the continuation of the knowledge of the ancient Greeks and Romans for the time while the Roman Empire collapses and until the time of the Renaissance that's reemerged in Europe. Okay, and mathematically, that's what the Renaissance and then the empires that come after utilize with from the Islamic empires, especially the Ottomans. The Ottoman Empire enjoyed a golden age under Sultan Suleiman, or known as Suleiman the Lawgiver. He ruled from 1520 to 1566. His people called him the Lawgiver because he was fair. The idea of the Ottoman Empire is important to know is that if you played by the rules that they set up, they were very, very tolerant of you religiously and economically. And if you actually converted to their religion, you just had to pay a tax if you wanted to be still practice your own faith. But if you actually converted to their faith, which is Islam, you had a lot of social mobility. So they were kind of like very fair to the empire or the people that they're encompassing. So they had that kind of openness to them, and they had a very vast differences of cultures that they were basically ruling over. So he's called Suleiman the Magnificent. He's a brilliant general. He modernized the army. He extended Ottoman rule eastward into the Middle East, so he expands it further, where it started with the Byzantine Empire. His empire was huge bureaucracy, so he actually is, or is another way you want to think of it for AP World would be a government. This is Suleiman on the bottom, okay? He's known for having a very big turban, so that's actually a turban. And here, this is the Hagia Sophia, and this is the Ottoman Empire map. So he's known for being the lawgiver. He's very stringent and strict with the law, and it's followed by the Sharia law, which is basically intertwining the ideas of Islam with actual governmental laws. If you were to sprite those things, how would you sprite Islam and how would you sprite laws? Remember, sprite stands for social, political, religious, intellectual, technological, and economics. Okay, so those are the things you want to kind of do as a thematic approach to world history. And how would you guys do that? Leave that in the comment below, and then tell me what ways you would maybe work it into an essay, a DBQ, SAQ, or anything else for your class. The Ottoman Empire was culturally and religiously tolerant, so it's important to realize that they were a major empire, but they weren't one of those types of empires that forced conversions of faith or religion while they were ruling over. One thing they did set up were these things called Janissaries, which they did conscript young Christian boys into their governmental procedures. They did it in the sense to have a very fair way of dealing their laws and their ideas. They were the brightest students. They received special education to become government officials, judges, lawyers, and poets. So the intellectual people that were ruling the Ottoman Empire had an objective view because they were these Christian Janissaries. To us, it's kind of different, really different to have young Christian boys conscripted from this idea. And their side, it was the objective opinion to be rulers of the society. So it's kind of like one or the other, but that's something that you would see pop up on your exam. The Ottoman were divided into social classes, and each had their role. You had the men of the sword, which would basically be the ones that were guarded the Sultan or the army. You had men of the pen, which were the lawyers, judges, poets, right? You had the men of negotiation, which were the merchants, tax collectors. And you had the men of husbandry, which are farmers, herders, who produced food for the community. The end of the Ottoman Empire was the 1700s, and the Ottoman Empire basically fell while the European empires embarked on the age of imperialism. And that's one of the things that they don't fully go away, but their power and dominance in this area of the world lasts, and it starts to wane during the age of imperialism with European history. What group is missing from this social classes? Leave a comment in the description below, and then tell me how you would sprite some of these ideas, right? What do you guys feel? More social, political, religious? Did you see anything intellectual in here about technology or economics? Leave the comments below, and yeah, have a good day. Bye.